Hi, everyone. My name is Bryant Chase, and I am so excited to connect with you today. Um, I am here with Marissa Gonzalez, and we are going to help candidates find your jobs on social media. And we're also going to help show you where to find candidates. So, a little bit about who we are and why we're considered experts on social media. Again, my name is Bryant Chase. I'm the director of social media for CareerArc. I have nearly 10 years of experience in social media. I've worked with brands like American Express, L'Oreal, Maybelline, Essie, and more. And I've also worked across a bunch of different industries like beauty, obviously, but also with news and now in recruiting. And I absolutely love this industry because what's more fun than helping somebody find a job? Like, that's got to be one of the best feelings in the world. I'm here with the amazing Marissa Gonzalez. Marissa, take a moment to introduce yourself as well.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Bryant. I'm super excited to be here. I am Marissa Gonzalez, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. I am CareerArc social media manager and have over 4 years of social media marketing experience in different industries. I am super excited to be here alongside my incredible boss, Bryant Chase, and share a bit of my experience when searching for jobs and also the importance of using social media to recruit. I will say that this is my first live, so I'm both really thrilled to be here, but also a little nervous. So if I stutter or say a couple of times, please bear with me.
She is going to do great. So we're going to jump right in about the do's and don'ts of social media, but we're actually taking a little bit of a flip. We're going to go over the don'ts first and then the do's. So what isn't attractive to candidates and then what is, and then we're going to explain to you guys where the candidates are. We know that that can be a little bit confusing, and talking about how to get their attention. And with that, we're going to flip the switch a little bit. So normally it's you trying to get their attention. We're going to let you know how to tell them some extra steps that candidates can take to see your job posts. So since it is getting into spooky season here soon, these are a lot of things that are going to scare candidates away. So these are your caption don'ts. And we're starting early because we know there's a lot of like, but what about this? And what about this? And what about that? So this should help you guys understand. There are some like big, actually, I'm going to go to this one first. So one of the big issues is not having a clear focus for your content. So when you're posting your captions, a lot of the times your content's not too specific, or there's too much text in the graphics. It can be hard to read. The job descriptions might be vague, or you're not using hashtags correctly. And hashtags are super, super confusing. I totally get that. It's kind of a lot to manage sometimes. It's great to have organizations like CareerArc that can help you with that, because we do automate all that stuff. We tell you really clearly how to optimize that space for yourself. But if you don't, we also want this to be super valuable for recruiters who are new to the industry and just getting into it. So we'll have some examples Marissa's going to go over in the future about some really great examples. But the other thing that we wanted to talk about is red flags. So there are a lot of phrases that turn candidates off that I think recruiters at one time thought that these were really valuable, and they were. But throughout COVID, a lot of things have shifted and perspectives have shifted. So things when you put in your job description, things like we're a family, candidates nowadays are kind of turned off by that. The idea of must handle stress well, to a candidate, that's going to read as like, okay, that's a really stressful environment and it's already a stressful time in this world. Maybe not exactly what I want to look for. And willing to wear many hats also indicates that, okay, there's going to be a lot of things that they have to do that aren't part of their job description. Responsibilities may include those outside the job description is another phrase that's commonly used. And it's perfectly appropriate, mind you. But the reason that we put that in there is because candidates are going to look at that and kind of see and hear something different than maybe what you intend. So we just want to be clear. The Wall Street Journal just did an amazing article about this. Marissa is going to drop that in the captions, or excuse me, in the comments section for you, so you can check that out. And the other thing is with the hashtags, along with the don'ts, when you use hashtags, it's really important to be considerate about the specificity of those hashtags, because we want to make sure that not using them is considered a big no-no. and not using enough can be an issue as well. So hashtags by platform are considered to be, hashtags by platform are suggested that LinkedIn is just 1 to 5 hashtags. Twitter, they suggest 2 hashtags. Instagram, you can use up to 30. And while they suggest to use less, studies have shown that using as many as you can, up to 30, is actually more valuable. And then Facebook, it suggests 3 to 5, and TikTok varies. Now, speaking of TikTok varying, technically all this stuff kind of varies. So if you use more or less, it's not a huge deal, but we do just want to be considerate that there are some guidelines out there as well. So if you're using hashtags that aren't related to your post, it can also be a problem sometimes. So if you realize that a hashtag is really taking off and it's trending and you're like, oh, I'm just going to toss that in there because it'll help. It might help get you a lot of views, but they might not be views for people who actually want to see your content. So really consider your audience. A lot of people don't really think through that. So they might post something like retail jobs, which is great because you're at least specifying retail, but some other people might just post like we're hiring, which is going to give you a very wide audience. So if you put retail jobs or Chicago retail jobs or something along those lines, you might hone down your audience to a more niche base, and that gets closer and closer to the target that you're looking for. The other thing is popularity of hashtags can really switch around. So if you see really big hashtags that a ton of people are using, that's great. You want to jump right in. But that also means that your post might get lost in the sea of all the other ones that are using that hashtag too. And if you go too niche, it might be that you're only reaching like 10 people, and even those 10 might not see it. So there's a little bit of like a Goldilocks and the Three Bears, like testing the different porridges, figuring out what's right for you. I don't know if you guys ever expected a hashtag Goldilocks and the Three Bears analogy to come your way this morning, but it has. You're welcome. That's just, what we're here for. So that's one of the things that'll really help together too. The last thing is oftentimes people string several words together in a hashtag. It can be really hard to read. And quite frankly, sometimes words paired together create new words that are inappropriate. So what we do is to help you understand that and help readers understand that is we suggest capitalizing the beginning of each word. So the first letter of each word is capitalized in your hashtag strings. So there's more on this in our hashtag checklist guide that is linked in the comments for you. Marissa's put that in there. Thank you, Marissa. And again, I want to reemphasize the reason that we do a lot of these social sessions that we started doing. This is our 3rd one in the series, in the monthly series, is we know that as recruiters, you never anticipated yourselves to be social media experts. And you don't have to be. You're not supposed to be. But if you want CareerArc to take all of this off your hands, all you have to do is give us permission and we will take care of it for you. So Marissa is now going to talk to you. I just went over all the things not to do. Marissa is going to tell you all the things that you can do that'll make things look better. So we're going to get into the do's of how to attract top candidates.
Awesome. So yeah, we learned the don'ts. So now let's dive into some do's, and these do's will help you attract top candidates. So number 1, having a clear interview process is key. And number 2, having a thorough job description is super important. Number 3, having eye-catching and simple posts. You're going to hear me say simple throughout our time today. So it's just really important. Simplicity is really important. Number 4, using hashtags correctly. So you learned on what not to do and some great tips on how to do hashtags. And I'm going to dive deeper into that in a second. So candidates are really coming into interviews anxious and nervous. I, for one, have always struggled with nerves during interviews. And so Bryant and I discussed that one simple way that can help calm their nerves is to lay out the interview process. And this can be simple. It can be simply done by adding a bullet point in the job description stating that the position typically has, for example, 2 to 3 interviews. And this can be super helpful and can help ease candidates' nerves. I, for one, really appreciate this when I see it, and it's a green flag for me, which also leads me to show you some great job post examples. So number 1, the one thing to really remember is that you don't want to overwhelm the eye. We'll be using Instagram as an example for this slide, as it is the most visually appealing platform. So you'll see that this post is eye-catching, aesthetically pleasing, easy to read, clear, simple, and to the point. The colors are really pretty. They mix well together, and it's just not really overwhelming. there's really no need to cram all of the information in one photo or in one graphic. You can include the bulk of the information in the caption. And that's just really important what's really important to include in the actual graphic is the position, the company, and the salary range. Those three things is really all you need. And like I said, the rest can just go in the caption. Or you can also make it a short form video to include more information. Now we can go to our second job post example, and this one is from LinkedIn. So this is also a great example that is, the caption is clear, visually appealing. I like how they organized it with emojis. That's fun, and also a little bit different for LinkedIn. And they also use a really quick and cute little video that really shows their company culture. And it's really just a few seconds.
That is so eye-catching in a feed, which is really, really valuable too.
Yeah, especially on LinkedIn too, because that's a little bit more uncommon.
Yeah, it stands out from the crowd, which is exactly what you want to do. If you see the same redundant stuff over and over again, being able to spice things up like this, even though it's more of an advanced kind of approach to a job post, it's still really, really valuable. So if you are capable of doing that, it's great. If not, totally fine too, because we showed you just before the other one, which was very simple. It's still a really great approach. So
absolutely. And so now I'm going to dive into Instagram and how to use hashtags. So I am going to invite you all to open Instagram. And actually, if you could restart that video.
Yeah, let me pull it back.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank
All
you.
right, starting now.
So if everyone can just open Instagram, and you'll see that towards the bottom of the left corner, there's a little magnifying glass. So if you tap on that and type in a hashtag, I typed in hashtag retail jobs. And you'll actually see that there are over 28.6 thousand posts for this hashtag alone.
That's wild.
It's crazy. And so Instagram organizes things into 3 different categories: top, recent, and reels. So recent is really valuable as we're looking for a job post. And you'll see that there's a lot of overwhelming posts here that just have a lot going on and are not simple and are overwhelming to the eye. So I finally found one that kind of just is eye-catching and more simplistic. And this one, I like the colors. It's just to the point, and it also includes a caption and also some hashtags. So if I look closely, I see that they do have a mix of hashtags, which is great. But I also recommend to include a little bit more specific hashtags for this post. But overall, it's a great post.
Nice.
And then, so let's talk about where are candidates. So I'm a millennial and found my current role here at CareerArc on LinkedIn, and actually my past role. So LinkedIn is actually my preferred method for finding jobs. That easy apply button truly is the best feature and any job seeker's best friend. And I know that Bryant also mentioned that he also found his job at CareerArc with social media, right?
Yeah, I found my job here on social media as well. I love using social media to find jobs because I have to be on social for work all the time. A lot of times I'll follow companies and put up multiple job alerts for companies, because then if I see that in my feed, it'll stop me and I'll be like, oh, I need to either A, get back to work, or B, check out this job post. But it kind of snaps me out of that death scroll. And the job alerts are really helpful too. So we'll talk more about that a little bit later in the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. I also set up those job alerts and they're great. So I've been both a passive and active candidate, and I've done the whole mass applying thing, and it was brutal. I started working with CareerArc almost 8 months ago in February. So I was in the market last year and early this year. And the companies that really stood out to me were the ones that had a great social media presence and that also had eye-catching posts. That's what really made them stick to me and remember them, since I was applying to so many. And so now Bryant will dive into some key stats that every recruiter needs to know.
Yeah, so CareerArc does some polls through Harris Poll every once in a while, pretty regularly. And some of the polls revealed that 58% of job seekers search for information about potential employers on social media, which is honestly, I expect that to just grow and grow and grow as time goes on. 65% of active job seekers say that they've discovered jobs on social media, and 63% have applied to a job they found on social. We're going to share a link to our Harris Poll in the comments as well, so you guys can be on a lookout for that. There is tons of great research in there for you. So if you're looking to try and figure out how to work on any of these projects, this is particularly a lot of the data that we just shared is from the Harris poll, but we're also going to share a blog that talks about that and the value of employee advocacy as well. So definitely worth a read. So the talent that you want is on social. Like, that's just a no-brainer. Talent is on social. 90% of candidates follow brands on social media. 79% interact with the brands on social media, which is major. 86% of candidates use social in their job search, and 49% of professionals follow companies on social specifically to stay aware of their jobs. So lastly, 82% of job seekers consider employer brand and reputation before applying, which is absolutely so crucial, because as we talk about how you can really just put jobs out just to get them out, which is a great thing to do, but it's really, really helpful to kind of supplement those job posts in your feed with employer brand and reputation, to help candidates understand, okay, this is the job I want, but is this the company that I want? And that's a really great distinction that you can share. So we're going to take us through the different variations and platform specific stats as well. So LinkedIn, as we know, is super focused on more like white collar type jobs, although it's not exclusively that. And it is the job place to be. So you can obviously find candidates who are looking for content there in that space. On Facebook, it's a great opportunity to post jobs for blue collar jobs or different areas as well. A lot of times people feel like they shouldn't post on these channels because, is their target audience really there? I don't know about you guys watching at home, but if my family members see a job for somebody that they know, they're immediately going to copy that, paste it, send it to them in a message, and it's going to get to the right person eventually. So don't write off any of these platforms, because while Facebook and LinkedIn are the top two, these other ones are super valuable. Twitter is great because you can literally post as many times as you want on Twitter. And with Facebook, or excuse me, some of the other, I want to circle back just 1 second. On LinkedIn, there are 40 million weekly job seekers. 40 million. That's insane. So if you feel like you're using a hashtag that's too niche, don't worry, because it's just going to get rid of the people that you don't want to see your posts, people that aren't going to be interested in it. There are 2 million small businesses that use it to hire. And here's the deal. Your employees are your influencers. So your recruiters are your influencers for your company. They account for 30% of brand engagement. That is huge. So you don't have to put all your eggs in this one basket of LinkedIn. Not everyone is on LinkedIn. So these non-work friends and family are really, really valuable, and they have your best interests in mind. And if they don't heavily use LinkedIn, they're going to be on these other platforms, because as we know, 72% of employers already use Facebook to attract and recruit talent. And Twitter, candidates are 10 times more likely to follow and interact with recruiters than company profiles on Twitter. So this is great for employee advocacy. This is great for, brand reps. This is great for getting your content out there. And here's another one that I think might really shock you. So did you know that 49% of Instagram users hold a college degree? That's almost on par with 51% of college degree holding users on LinkedIn. So absolutely don't write off Instagram. It is a great resource to find candidates in a different way, and maybe an unexpected way for a lot of people, but super valuable. And YouTube also is a great place to find candidates if that's right for your brand. Now, not every brand, it's going to be right for them to use YouTube. I don't know about you, Marissa. I know a ton of people who consume YouTube as if it's TV. I think I'm too old for that as an elder millennial, as a geriatric millennial, I think they call us.
I don't call you that.
Yeah, I know. Do you use it like that? Do you use it to watch TV?
Not really. No, I'll just play like music videos in the background, but not really to watch actual TV.
Yeah. And the one thing that I want to emphasize too is that Marissa and I are sharing some of our personal experiences just to provide anecdotes for these things. But just because your personal experience means that you don't use it for those reasons doesn't mean candidates don't. So just one thing I really wanted to tie into that as well. So according to our Harris poll, social and professional networks were the #1 method employers used to recruit talent in 2021, with 92% saying they use social media and professional networks for recruiting. So if you aren't using these things, you're one of the 8% that's still skimming by. our social media recruiting statistics blog post has some really, really important information on it for you, and it'll help you kind of like see the value there. So if you want to check that out, again, that is in the comments. Marissa's going to talk to you about some more stuff right here.
You can skip one more.
Skip one more.
Yeah. Okay. So social media is an important resource for job seekers, especially in younger generations. Our Harris poll also revealed that 45% of job seekers say social media is very important to their job search. I mean, me and Bryant can attest to that.
Yeah.
62% of Gen Z and 55% of millennials with work experience are more likely than Gen X and boomers with work experience to have discovered job opportunities on social media. So now Bryant's going to share how you can find candidates on social, even if you are super entry level beginner.
Yeah. So of course, first and foremost, just getting the job post out on your social feeds is going to be helpful. Even if it's just text, even if you don't have hashtags, even if you just have a link, it's at least going to get in front of more people than it would if you didn't post. So you can do that as a basic setting. As an intermediate approach, you can add the image with a solid caption like that's contextually related to the image and the job, and it'll help grab that viewer's attention just a little bit more. And the advanced component is really interesting. Susan Erickson is one of our amazing clients at UAMS. And right here, I've shown you a really simple thing that you can do. You can ask your clients to subscribe to your social channels. So when Susan posts, I can go to her LinkedIn and I click that little bell right here that you can see, and that will give me notifications every time she makes a post. A lot of candidates think that if they're the first ones to apply, it's going to benefit them in the hiring process. Might not necessarily be true, but it doesn't really matter. They're excited about seeing that post first and getting there before anybody else, and that's super, super important. So these additional components are just optimizations. So the first things first is just go ahead and get there, get your posts out, and then you can add on all these other things as you learn and grow in the space. It's a little bit about teaching candidates how they can use it better. So once I start to receive all these notifications from Susan, she can even share this in her feed. You can follow companies on LinkedIn and tell them, hey, don't just follow me, follow my company. There's great updates from there from our marketing team, and follow us on all of our other social platforms. So let your candidates know, hey, you can get our content on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever it may be. And speaking of which, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say follow CareerArc on Facebook, follow CareerArc on LinkedIn, follow CareerArc on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. TikTok especially, because that's where you see Marissa doing a bunch of really cool trends, and me attempting them and embarrassing myself a little bit. They're really
but
fun.
We have fun.
We have a really good time doing those. So
today you've learned some don'ts and some do's on how to find and attract candidates on social media, what turns them off, aka red flags, how to use hashtags and what to avoid, some key statistics, and best practices.
So everything is moving towards social. We're so appreciative of you guys being here with us today. Keep in mind that every generation is using social, some more than others. So if you want a lot more information about all this, check out our Harris poll. That link is in the comments again. The Harris poll is chock full of great information. And we understand that you may not be a social media expert, and remember that that is okay. You don't need to be. It's important to just get content out there. And if you'd like to enhance your social media presence, all you have to do is just reach out and give us permission. We would love to help. So make sure to follow Marissa and I on LinkedIn. Follow us on all of our social platforms, the ones that I just listed. And if you have any questions, reach out to us on LinkedIn or reach out to us in our email addresses. We're really, really happy to share this with you. There's lots of more fun information on all of our other platforms too. So Marissa, awesome job today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your help. And to everybody who came to view, thank you guys for joining us as well. And we'll see you next month.
Thank you. Have a good one.